Financial Survival Network, helping you to survive and thrive in the new economy. Get our complimentary newsletter at financialsurvivalnetwork.com. This is the Financial Survival Network.
These are tough times, and they're getting even tougher. The clock is ticking. The countdown to collapse is well underway. What are you going to do about it? Will you just wait for it to happen, or will you be ready when it happens? The decision is yours, and yours alone. Join myself, Mickey Fulp, Robert Ian, David Morgan, Jeff Berwick, Elijah Johnson, Alan Butler, Gregory Manarino, Daniel Amaduri, Andy Hoffman, Kawa Da Silva, Trace Mayer, one of the world's leading Bitcoin authorities, Bix Weir, Jay Taylor, and Gary Christensen at the Liberty Mastermind Symposium in Las Vegas on February 21st and 22nd, and learn how to create your plan to survive the collapse. The last Liberty Mastermind Symposium was one of the most highly rated conferences ever, and this one promises to be even better. Don't miss it. Join us and register now at libertymastermind.us. libertymastermind.us. This one is going to be out of this world, and it's going to be even better because it's in Las Vegas, Nevada. Go to Liberty Mastermind US and sign up today. You're listening to the FinancialSurvivalNetwork.com. I'm Kerry Lutz on 1230 WBZT. Well, at some point, you have to take a stand. If not, then what do you tell your kids? Person you're about to hear from, you probably heard about him. He's taking a stand. He's sued the administration, the Obama administration, against all the waivers and unilateral dictates modifying Obamacare. Dr. Larry Kawa, orthodontist in Boca Raton, Florida, a neighbor of mine. Dr. Kawa, welcome back to the show.
Thanks for having me back on, Kerry.
Hey, so you had a setback, not altogether unexpected in the district court, but you're moving on with the case, right?
That is correct. Basically, the judge laid a roadmap of what would constitute standing. We're following that roadmap, and we're going to bring it to the District Court of Appeals in the 11th Circuit in Atlanta, Georgia.
Right. And basically, your contention is that all of these waivers and unilateral modifications of the law are illegal, and the judge there said pretty much, I don't know if they are or not, but you're not the guy to be saying they aren't. You don't have standing, right?
Well, the interesting thing is that the administration is not claiming that they had a legal predicate in any of the back and forth we've had with them. They're simply claiming that I don't have the legal right to question the illegalities of their actions by making the assertion that I don't have standing. That's correct.
Mm-hmm. So not really getting to the underlying issue of whether it was legal or illegal.
Correct.
Right. So you march on, and you're going to fight the fight to the end, pretty much, and hopefully the U.S. Court of Appeals will see it differently.
We certainly hope so. We think that they will. You know, if you look at the case law of what constitutes injury, we certainly meet the criteria, hands down, of injury, which is what you need to basically have standing, in addition to two other factors which are somewhat easier to prove than injury.
Right. So why are you doing all this again? Just to remind us, why are you doing it?
Well, that's a good point, Kerry. I want to remind you that Article 1 of the Constitution says that only our elected officials in Congress have the power to make or change our laws. And the president is charged with an affirmative duty to enforce the existing laws, whether he likes them or not. And I think it's setting a very bad precedent for a president to change laws willy-nilly, because let's remember, he is not a lawmaker. He was when he was briefly a senator, but the president is an executive. His job is to enforce the law, not make or change them. And also, please bear in mind that the words executive orders are not used in the Constitution at all. They're an assumed power, the purpose of which is only one. It is to better enforce an existing law. It is not there to change the law. And in Section 1513, of Obamacare, the employer mandate section. It says in no uncertain terms, the employer mandate is going to begin January 1st, 2014, which has since come and gone, and it's not enforced because the president, who is a constitutional lawyer, and shame on him should know better, has opted, in contrast to the law, to not only waive it. I think to say to waive it or delay it is wrong. He actually canceled the law as a Congress of one for the year 2014. So that's wrong, and that's where I decided to take a stand.
Yeah, well, it's admirable. I mean, it's your right, obviously. I think you're kind of fighting an uphill battle, but somebody's got to do it, right?
Yeah, why not be me, I guess. That's true.
Well, you look in New York, you know, the governor there, Cuomo, just said to basically conservatives and people who believe in the Constitution, you're not welcome in New York. So I guess the number of places where people who believe in the Constitution, who believe in limited powers for the government, there's not that many states where you really are welcome, is there?
Yeah, it was a dumb thing for him to do, to say something like that, because look at the implications of that. What is he saying? I want the job creators, who are primarily Republicans, to go move out somewhere else. So how are you going to create jobs and at the same time not welcome the job creators?
Yeah. Well, he believes that the primary job creators are the government, and that the government creates wealth, which is just ignoring the basics of economics, right?
Well, that's true, but with 21 million people working for the government right now, they've actually created their own special interest. Because, look, you know, they say the average person has someone that's going to vote their way. You know, so if you have 21 million people that work for the federal government, and you have a liberal who wants bigger and bigger government, you're starting off with 42 million votes, assuming they all vote that way, and because somebody's going to vote your way to help you keep your job or create one within the government. So the government itself has created its own special interest.
Yeah, amazing. And yeah, when you've got all these people who are getting something from the government, everybody gets something, let's face it.
Well, you know what? Think about this, Kerry. What if, you know, in the average presidential election, you have about 120 million people that vote. Imagine starting off with 42 million votes when all you need is, say, 61 million and 42 are just a given. It's like starting an arm wrestle and back of your fist is already leaning against the table. It's, you know, it's an unfair thing to occur from an electoral perspective.
Yeah, and really, you do have that advantage, but fortunately, all those 42 million people don't necessarily vote. You know, you have to basically provide them transportation to and from the polling place, and
right.
You have to do everything but pull the lever or punch out the Chad for them, basically.
Well, that's true, but on one side, you've got the Republicans saying, you know, that we want to downsize government, and you got 21 million people who work for the government to say, we don't want you to downsize us. And like I said, they have at least one other person that probably will vote their way to help them keep their job.
Yeah, very true. Sad state of affairs indeed. And who knows what's going to occur next, but it's not looking too positive for the future, that's for sure.
Well, you know what? President Obama is entering the sixth year of his presidency, so certainly this is no longer George Bush's economy. This is Barack Obama's economy. And if you look at the numbers, real unemployment is double if you take into consideration the fact that millions have left the workforce. You look at the fact that 50% more people are now on food stamps. We've gone from 32 to 48 million people that are on food stamps. The median household income has dropped from 60,000 to 52,000. And with all that, we are now basically close to $10 trillion in additional debt if you take into account the fiscal cliff and the repercussions of the costs of Obamacare. That means that he outspent the first 43 presidents in all of their multiple terms in one term of his own. We spent more in 4 years than we did in the previous 233 years.
Yeah, and don't forget one thing, that a lot of these people who are on the dole don't necessarily want to be there. They'd prefer to be working. They prefer to be producers, not to be consumers, to be takers. So just because you get a check doesn't mean you want to be getting a check. So they'd much prefer to be working. So that's something that a third of those people, 25% of them, don't want to be in the situation that they're in. So there is some hope there, because a lot of them are there just because it's the avenue of last resort, right?
Absolutely. And while I do think it's the government's job to ensure equal opportunity as best as it could, I don't think it's the government's job to ensure equal outcomes, because everyone is different. And like Martin Luther King said, don't judge a person by the color of his skin, but by the content of his character. People have different characters. And I don't believe that you should bend the curve of success by what the government wants. I think that let capitalism work, stand out of the way of free enterprise, and acknowledge you can't both love creating jobs and want to stand in the way of the job creators by excessive regulation of free enterprise.
Hey, and, I would love to be a famous rap star. But I don't have the talent to do it. So what's the government going to do? Are they going to step into the marketplace and make me a great rap star? It can't be done.
Can't be done. But imagine if anyone who were to buy music were not buying enough of your music if you were a rap star, and the government steps in and says, you know what? We want to create more equality in income. So before you buy any more of the music you like, you're going to have to buy some CDs from Kerry Lutz, because we want to equal the playing field. And Kerry worked for it. So if you work hard, you should be rewarded for that opportunity, even if no one likes your music.
Even if I have no talent, which I don't, but, I'm putting in the effort, so they're going to step in and make sure that I become a success, even though I'm rotten at it, which I am, admittedly. But because I'm willing to make the effort and waste my time at it, they're going to ensure that there's a payoff for me in the rap business. And they're going to make people show up at my concerts too, Dr. Kawa, because I'm really a good guy and I'm really making the effort and I'm sincere.
Well,
and you know what else? I'm thinking that I'd also be a great orthodontist if I just had the chance, and I'm a little too old to go to dental school, but I think I'd be a great affirmative action orthodontist, and maybe a air traffic controller, and maybe a great affirmative action pilot too. But hey, I'd love their help to get me in the cockpit of a 747 flying transatlantic and trans-Pacific flights. You want to be my passenger, Dr. Kawa?
Well, of course, because we got to play by the same rules and give you a fair chance, and I have to pay my fair share for that plane ticket too.
Yeah, I don't think you want to be my passenger, even with all the technology that ensures that you'll have a safe takeoff and landing.
It's a good analogy, Kerry.
Yeah, but that's what it's coming down to, and that's the sickness of the whole thing, that but yet it's okay to have an affirmative action teacher in the classroom, because somehow you're going to do less damage than an affirmative action pilot. So you could see the absurdity once you carry the equality of outcome over to all professions. Some are less equal than others, aren't they?
Without a doubt. And it's funny they call it affirmative action, because it started out obviously to help the black community, but the primary beneficiaries of affirmative action right now are single white women. So if the black community were to analyze the numbers, they'd see that they are not benefiting nearly to the extent that they think. Those who would manipulate the program have forced them to take a backseat to their own program, affirmative action.
Yeah. Great point. So, got to wrap up. People want to find out more about your lawsuit, more about the work that you're doing. Is there a place they can go?
Yes, I have a website, theamerican.net. That's theamerican.net. And there's another website I launched specially for next week. thestateoftheunion.com. Thestateoftheunion.com.
All right. Well, we'll be following the lawsuit, and we'll definitely check out thestateoftheunion.com. Of course, go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com. Link will be in the show notes. And don't forget Liberty Mastermind in Vegas, February 21st, 22nd, libertymastermind.us. Dr. Kawa, thanks for the work you're doing. We'll talk with you again real soon.
Thanks for the opportunity, Kerry.
Hi, it's Kerry Lutz. I recently decided to move my retirement account into physical precious metals to hedge against the coming times. If you want to move an existing retirement account into physical precious metals that you can hold in your hand, tax-free, there's no company that can do it more quickly and efficiently than Regal Assets. It took them just 24 hours to open my new IRA account, and all I had to do was fill out one simple form. The best part is that Regal Assets does all the work for you. They cover the setup and administrative costs for 2013. If you're interested in making the same move I did, call 855-678-6620, 855-678-6620. That's 855-678-6620, or visit them at regalassets.com. You'll be glad you did, and tell them Kerry sent you. What happens if the collapse never really comes? You need income, and Jason Hartman can help you get it. He's helped thousands of people realize their dreams of financial independence through real estate investing, and now he's got an unbeatable offer for you. He's offering my ebook, Forget Wall Street, Go for the Gold and Silver Too, for free. Just visit jasonhartman.com/Lutz. The first 100 Financial Survival Network listeners will get the book free. Remember, you can't afford to put all your eggs in one basket. Real estate should be part of a balanced investment portfolio along with gold and silver. Just go to jasonhartman.com/Lutz and sign up today. When it comes to real estate investing, Jason Hartman is the only person we trust on the Financial Survival Network. So make your money work as hard as you do by building an income property empire. Real estate is America's proven investment. Go to www.jasonhartman.com/Lutz and get your free ebook today. That's Jason, HARTMAN.com/Lutz. That's Jason, HARTMAN.com/Lutz. Jason knows how to help you retire with a portfolio of income-producing property. Go to jasonhartman.com/Lutz.
The Financial Survival Network, helping you to survive and thrive in the new economy. Get our complimentary newsletter at financialsurvivalnetwork.com. This is the Financial Survival Network.